She said that she sends it certified, but when we do that these days, it just goes back to CP19. But he wasn't interested, the last two defendants, so I'm sure even if he did receive it, he's probably.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is 173578, State of Michigan versus Michael J. Bishop.
Mark Bernardi on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Good morning, Mr. Bernardi. This exam was scheduled for 10 o'clock. It's now 10:04 by the court's clock. The court has been advised that although defense counsel is present on the premises, that he will not enter the building. So he has been admitted to our Zoom room. I am calling the case, and now we'll wait and see what happens. Thank you.
Is the defendant out there too?
Yes. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm tired, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hello.
Mr. Bernardi, Mr. Kearney, did I misunderstand? I thought we were in-person Zoom, in-person exam.
We are. I'm in the parking lot.
I need you to come into the building as scheduled, please. Thank you.
Are you sure, Judge?
Am I sure that when defense counsel requests a live exam that I expect people to be here at 10 o'clock for the live exam? I'm pretty sure. Thank you.
Sorry, it's just in contrast to the scale guidelines for. All right, I'll come in.
In contrast to the scale guidelines, what?
If there's no need for people to come into the building because the witnesses didn't show for the preliminary exam, we, in 35th, 36th, and 18th district, we check in over Zoom, see if the witnesses have shown. If they haven't, we do the dismissal over Zoom so people don't have to come into the building. But
I'm not sure why you think witnesses aren't available.
Aren't here, didn't show up. That was my question.
They have not. One witness complainant is not here. That is correct. He's not here. He is also, so the court knows, he also did not show up for the co-defendant's exams as well.
So what are we doing?
I don't know. I'm here, and if at some point the defense has a motion to dismiss, and if the court is going to either grant or not grant that motion, I normally would ask the court to wait a little time because we do have people show up a little bit late, and if there is a reasonable time in which the court wishes to dismiss, the court can dismiss. At this point, I cannot go forward. That's clear.
So, Mr. Kearney, is your position that you'll make the motion from the parking lot, but you won't come into the court and make the motion?
It's not my willingness. I'll do whatever the court instructs me to do. I just would prefer to not expose myself if I don't have to. If all I'm going to do is ask for a dismissal and there's no in-person element to cross-examining anybody, both me and my client could do this from the ask for the dismissal from the parking lot. But if the court wants me to come in the building, I will come in the building.
Mr. Kearney, I want you to do what you feel is most prudent. And if it's your indication to the court that you do not, that you would rather not come in, and that you're indicating that other courts don't require you to come in simply to obtain a dismissal, if I'm understanding you correctly.
That's correct, Judge.
I would ask though, before we do anything, that the defendant check in at some point so I can see that he's here.
He's here as well, Judge. I can have him jump in to Zoom. Court just gives me a moment.
So we have now used up all of our live exam dates and nobody wants to come into the building and nobody wants to proceed.
Mm-hmm.
Great use of resources. So I have to figure out what other question to ask from the PCC before we set an exam. Are you really, really sure? I'm sorry. That's probably not the right question. I'll have to come up with something. I know. So we have cases scheduled in May.
Has Mr. Bishop checked in inside? He had texted me earlier that he was in the parking lot.
He is in the parking lot.
He is in the parking lot.
Okay, I'm gonna do a lap around here and see if I can't find him. He didn't answer my call.
I don't know. I understand it's.
He has a pager that we gave.
Good morning. Maybe it's not clear that this court takes precautions, that there's plastic up, that there's thermometers at the door.
Can you hit 227 and tell him to hit that pager?
Hey, security. Hey, can you hit that pager?
There is someone in our
Tell him
Zoom
there's an
courtroom
attorney That's
Yeah.
looking for. his
that's
client.
named as Nancy's
Wait, let
phone.
me see. Yeah.
Either
Please.
activate
Thanks,
your
man.
video or remove yourself from this room. We'll call your 11 early if you want to talk to Mr. Kearney and there's something else. I'm sure you have things other to do than hang around with us.
I go where I'm told to go and stay as long as I'm.
Now you
told to
know that.
stay.
On this beautiful March morning.
Well, some things I would like to be.
Anything you'd like to share with the class? I saw tulips starting to come up on Friday afternoon and got ever hopeful.
Yep. They're growing too. Over the weekend, I couldn't believe it.
It's time to start the sunflower seeds too.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw the cardboard aid carding starting to be stashed.
Yeah, they told me they're gonna stay outside and do it on Zoom, is that proper? Okay, they already been advised, and they're gonna stay outside and do it on. Did you get the page back? I did get the page, thank you, Officer Gross.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to have the group of attorneys who all practice pre-COVID, who practice a certain kind of way, and then you'll have
You shouldn't be
This
joining now,
afternoon
Jeff.
will be better. Marianne, remind me to tell you about Judge Middleton.
Okay,
If you say that, I'll remember the story.
okay.
Good morning, sir, in the blue shirt. Your name, please.
Michael Bishop.
Thank you. This matter has already been called. It was scheduled for a 10 a.m. in-person exam. I've taken the
Thank you,
attorney's
Judge.
appearances. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I didn't physically have my appearance. I apologize.
Sir,
It's Blaze Kearney on behalf of Mr. Bishop from the Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit, P83960.
this matter was scheduled for exam. What are we doing this morning?
Judge, our complaining witness is not here at this time. Normally, I would ask for some additional time to allow for traffic or something, but the complainant did not show up for the co-defendant's case. I don't believe that he's going to show up.
Mr. Kearney, your response?
Given that, Judge, I would move to dismiss. This case is from 2017. If the complainant intended to prosecute this case, I think he would have showed up to the complaint or the co-defendant's exam or Mr. Bishop's, and he hasn't. So I would request dismissal without prejudice.
Anything else, Mr. Bernardi?
No, Judge.
Motion granted. Mr. Kearney, I want to make you aware of the fact that your client has an outstanding matter with this court scheduled for March the 9th. He also owes $873. I ask that he make arrangements with the court's collection department as soon as is possible, okay?
Understood. I'll have a conversation with him shortly. I believe I also have an 11 o'clock in there, Judge.
You have an 11 o'clock in it. You have an 11 o'clock, and I advise Mr. Bernardi, if the 11 o'clock is going to be anything like this, that we can do it sooner rather than later. I won't wait till 11 o'clock to call it. I'll call it as soon as the parties are prepared.
All right. And Mr. Bernard, do you know if the witnesses are, do we have any contact with the witnesses for our 11 o'clock?
The police officer, I've talked to the officer in charge, said that the officer should be there.
Understood. Understood. I will sit and wait. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bishop.
Thank you.